Okay, we'll call the regular meeting of the Cape Coral Charter School Governing Board to order. Today is Tuesday, December 12th, incredible, 2023. We're at the Oasis Middle School cafeteria at 5:30 p.m. If we could start with a moment of silence. Thank you. If we could stand for a pledge of allegiance.
Hilliard, forward, march. Hilliard, halt. Left, face. Present, colors.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, colors. Right, face. Forward, march. Hilliard, halt. Fall out.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you. Okay, we'll continue with roll call.
Ataselli. Present. Jackson.
Present.
Keith Long, District 6. Absent, excused. Attending on his behalf, Councilmember Tom Hayden, District 3.
Here.
Michaels.
Present.
Manaya.
Present.
Pease.
Present.
Stout, absent, excused. Parent representatives, Jennifer Hoagland.
Present.
Shade, absent, excused. Soto, absent, excused. Rizzo.
Present.
Thank you. And welcome to our new board member, Mr. Pease. And to Councilman Hayden for being here with us today.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, just to briefly explain the process, we are at the reorganization of the governing board. And basically, we'll first, of course, start with the chair, and someone will nominate a chair. And after, if there's an acceptance of that nomination, and we take the vote, right, by yes or no, and as the chair is elected, then the gavel moves to the chair. And the chair then takes on facilitating the nomination of the vice chair and the vice chair process. Okay, so that's how we'll proceed. So with that stated, only current voting board members can nominate and vote, which we know. Nomination, once a board member makes a nomination, no second is needed. After nominations are complete, a motion with a second is made to close the nominations. Okay? So does anyone have a nomination for the chair? Well, I can nominate. I nominate Mr. Christopher Jackson for the chair role. Are there other nominations for chair role?
Chair, does Mr. Jackson want the position?
I would be honored to take that position.
Okay. So,
I'll make a motion to nominate Mr. Jackson as chair.
Second.
any other nominations? All right, so we now need to vote on closing nominations. Do we,
Articelli. You will say yes or no.
Yes, let's follow the chair. The chair is asking for a motion to close nominations.
right,
I'll motion to close nominations.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so now we're going to vote for our chair.
Articelli.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Hayden.
Yes.
Michaels.
Yes.
Minaya.
Yes,
Pease.
Yes.
Unanimous.
unanimous. Congratulations.
Certainly.
And, yeah.
Shall I, is it every time we make the speech or do we do the vice chair?
Vice chair.
Okay. Okay. Next, we will be voting on our vice chair position. So if I can get a nomination or a name for anybody who would like to nominate vice chair.
I would like to nominate Karen Michaels as vice chair.
Any other nominations? Can I have a motion to close the nominations?
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? Should we take roll call so it's unanimous?
Articelli,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes?
Hayden.
Yes.
Michaels,
Yes.
Manaya,
Yes.
Pease,
Yes.
unanimous.
Motion carried. Congratulations. So that being said, I do have something prepared that I would like to say. So before I proceed, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and express my gratitude to our outgoing chair of the school board, Dr. Manaya. His tenure has been marked by exceptional dedication, visionary leadership, and tireless commitment to the betterment of our school district. Dr. Manaya has tirelessly championed the best interests of our students, teachers, and the entire school community. His unwavering commitment to excellence and tireless advocacy for the betterment of our district have left an indelible mark on our educational system, truly. Dr. Manaya is a kind and generous leader who always makes his colleagues feel heard and their opinions valued. He orchestrates our meetings judiciously and effectively. Dr. Manaya has truly set the bar high for his time during chair. As he steps down from his role as chair, I want to thank him for his outstanding service, along with him reapplying for the board position so he could help with the transition. Your knowledge and insight are invaluable. Dr. Manaya, your legacy of leadership and your contribution to our school district will be remembered with the utmost respect and admiration. Thank you for your exemplary service. From the heart. I'll take it. I'm sure that is echoed by the board. All right, do you mind?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. We're on approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? Any opposed? All right, that being said, the motion carries. Section 5, minutes are approved. That brings us to agenda item number 6, approval of the agenda, regular meeting. Can I get a second to approve?
Motion to approve.
Or, I'm sorry, motion to approve. Can I get a second to?
Second.
All approved? They're all in favor, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to public comment. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per individual, up to 45 minutes for a total comment time. Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to speak tonight? All right, that being said, we will move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any discussion on the agenda? That being said, motion carries. That'll bring us to the superintendent's report by Mrs. Collins.
Yes, hi, Board, Jackie Collins, Superintendent. I have a couple things in my report that I'd like to talk about. But the first thing I'd like to talk about is our dedication to our teachers and our staff and their salaries. I want to let the board know, and anybody who is watching tonight or in our observing, that we have spent a large amount of time looking at numbers, working with the city finance department, to see what we can change, to see what we can streamline from our budget so that we can put more money into the pockets of our teachers and our staff. While at the same time trying to maintain our work-life balance that we value within the system that is very special. So we're still working, we're still in negotiations with finance, not negotiations, but we're trying to configure what we can possibly configure for bonus options and salary incentives. Unfortunately, tonight we don't have any final figures to share. We're not even close at this point. We're still working to unravel what's there. So it's going to take us a lot more time to figure out where we are and what we have. And another proponent of this kind of delay is that we didn't have a governing board as of November 30th. You were terminated and then reinstated, so we couldn't even have discussions and have meetings to share recommendations thus far. So we really need to move forward, keep analyzing what we have, and it's just going to take some more time. So I can tell you, let me tell you where we are right now. Right now, we have given our teachers and our staff checks. We've given them a $1,000 bonus that they got last Friday for the holidays. They can kick off the holidays the right way. So far this year, we've provided them with a 1.9% increase for salaries, just this year alone. And we started to evaluate our system's benefit program because we believe there is a savings within our benefit program compared to what the school district of Lee County offers. Our HR manager, Amy Brown, has compared 3 of the family plans for us and has discovered that our PPO family plan, our low PPO, and our HMO plan are, in fact, more affordable than Lee County. And there are varieties in ways in which they are affordable, deductibles, out-of-pocket expenses, etc. But the biggest factor we found is that we have a free health center that the school district of Lee County does not have. So she can go into more detail if the board desires to hear those differences. But just, with those 3 components, we have put forth what we can so far this year for our teachers. But there's still more to do. So we're trying to schedule a meeting with the finance department next week because we are starting to work on our budget for FY25. And we want to build a clearer understanding of the cost and future budget impact moving forward, because anytime you give a salary increase 1 year, it compounds year after year after year. So a $200,000 budget impact this year might be $250,000 the following year. So all those things have to be analyzed. And as educators, we need finance's help because that's not just stuff in our back pocket that we know how to do those things. So what I can tell you that is what we're looking at to do this year for our staff. We're looking at retention and longevity bonuses that will match the Lee County schedule based on the TELC agreement. And we're doing that based on vacant position cost savings. New term that I learned. And another option is to go into reserves and use some of the reserves for staff bonuses like we've done in the past, of $1,000 or $2,000 per person. So we've got these options on the table and we're working very hard to come up with a plan. Another piece of good news that I have is that the FLDOE and the governor's office released a press release saying that they could potentially be releasing another $200 million in the teacher salary increase allocation for teacher salaries. And there could be a potential increase in FEFP funding per pupil of $175, bringing the total to $8,842 per student. That's going to help as well. So truly we have to wait until the state budget is finalized and approved before we can determine how that's going to affect our salaries in 2025. The good news, like I said, is now we're beginning the budget cycle for 2025. So we have already begun to crunch those numbers to figure out how we can move forward in the best fashion possible that the Oasis Charter School System can afford. So there we have it. And I want to reiterate, if I already did, I want to say it one more time. The calculation process that the finance department has to go through is a manual calculation process. they can't plug numbers in and come up with an amount automatically. They have to go person by person and line by line. So when I snap my fingers and say, I want this kind of calculation, it's not possible to do. So that's part of the reason why we just need more time to evaluate where we are and where we want to go. Okay? Anybody have any questions about that part of my report?
Questions? Is that Sally?
Yes, one of the things that I think might be interesting as you're getting information, I know we found out about what Lee County was doing. We got maybe sort of like the large overview of how much money those teachers were given. I'd be interested to know what that's going to look like on the sort of like on the individual paycheck, because as we know, this school system is different, and so what at the end of the day, what's a teacher in the Lee County system is going to be taking home on that month? Is it going to be an extra $200 by the time you sort of like at the tag, tax, and title? They're going to just be taking $200, $300, and if you kind of compare that to what the teachers are going to be taking home here, and if you compare that to all of the supports, we are always going to be dealing with a certain budget, and so we may not be able to meet everything that Lee County can do, but there's definitely things we can do.
Absolutely.
And so we want to maximize, hey, our system is different. Where can we meet the teachers at if we can't quite meet them there with the money? And I think that I want to make sure we're also looking at those other areas as well, because it is a different environment. There is different support systems. We do have, parents that are super involved, and there's other things, different, community aspects that are here, that are there. So I would be very interested in, what's that going to mean? Because maybe if you think of, well, hey, this person's getting $5,000 extra, well, that may not mean so much if by the time they take it home, it's only $200, and you're dealing with a whole bunch of students that you don't know and not that same level of support.
We probably can't analyze to that degree, but what we have analyzed so far is that if a teacher leaves, for example, a system like ours, and they go to Lee County, if they're bringing 20 years of experience with them, or 25, or 30 years, or 50 years, the most they're going to make if they transfer to Lee County is $55,000. Because their hiring salary schedule tops out at $55,000. So a teacher could be here at year 20 making $58,000, for example, and if they leave to go to Lee County, they're going to take a pay cut. And we're finding that as we go in and analyze, that when you're looking at transferring from one system to the next, there's not a lot of difference. And then when you analyze our benefits, and then we've given a raise already, and then we've given bonuses. So I think that's key that we explain that to teachers,
Yes.
because longevity bonuses don't apply to new people coming into the district. So if I'm a 15-year teacher in our system and I go to Lee County, I'm not getting any longevity bonus. So that throws that out the window. So there's not that big of a difference when you transfer between systems. Now, if you've been in Lee County for 35 years, there could be a bigger difference. I don't know what that is. I don't have the power to analyze that. But you're right, we can. And when I talk about the strategic plan, we've got some ideas in place as to how we can go out to the community. But remember, salary increases need to come from a recurring revenue
Yes.
stream, not a grant, not a donation. Bonuses can, perhaps. So we do have some really good ideas. And when we finalize the strategic plan ideas, we can share those too.
I just want to make sure that the teachers are aware of that, because you may just be hearing, hey, on the news that these people just got all this money,
Right.
versus we just want to make sure that we're.
Right. So part of our campaign,
Yes.
once we figure out where we are, is going to be sharing with teachers, if you transfer, you're not getting an 11.5. Very few would get an 11.5%.
Okay.
So we're on it. Yep.
That's a great point, Member Angelilli, thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mr. Renee.
Three questions, three quick questions. Are we seeing any impact of departures is the first question. Second question, you mentioned the health center, and that has value that somebody could explain a little. And the third question is, if someone's coming over from Lee County to Oasis, is there a similar longevity? Do they benefit from longevity, or is it similar when we're from Oasis going to Lee County? They don't benefit?
They would not benefit
Okay.
from longevity pay, because we would base it like Lee County, based on years within the system. Have we seen departures yet? We have not. I think teachers and staff are waiting to see what we're able to do, so they're gonna hang on. That's why we want to reassure them now that it's gonna take some time, because we're doing it right, and we're doing everything that our little system is able to do. So we have not seen departures yet. That's not true, I did see one. I did see one today from Oasis Middle School. But she had just recently left the system. She's returning to the system within the same year. So her eligibility might be different than someone who's lived in our system for the last 12 years and has never worked in Lee County. That's why.
You're going to have somebody speak on the health center.
I have Amy Brown here. She's prepared something that she can share with our staff about the differences. If you want to give it in a nutshell to our board, that'd be great.
Yeah, thank you. Amy Brown from Human Resources. I did look at, Lee offers, 3 different health plans. We offer 3 different health plans. A lot of similarities, a few nuances that make them markedly different. The biggest difference for us is, we have a premium plan that is on par with, the average of all the other plans, and it is by far more cost effective. Say for a family, it's $3,000-4,000 a year cheaper to insure your family with us than some of the lead plans. And all of our plans come with lower deductibles, lower out-of-pocket maximums, better co-insurances, cheaper prescription retail drugs, and then you add on the extra benefit of having the employee health center through the city of Cape Coral, where if you go to them for services, and it is only for age 8 and above, if you go to them for services, you have 0 copay for your visit itself, your lab work, your X-rays. They're running you, even if you're another doctor or specialist you see outside of the health center orders an MRI, you can go through the health center, have them rewrite it, go to radiology regional, and it's free. And then all of the nutrition counseling and wellness services that the health center offer for free as well, just really kind of, take us to the next level in terms of investing in the employee's wellness. And of course, that is what helps keep all of our premiums down, is if we keep people healthy, we keep claims out of the plan, we don't see the big increases year after year, and we're able to keep our premiums low. So that health center just pays for itself in spades.
And you think that's roughly a $3,000 to $4,000 difference in the benefits package?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Depending on the plan.
Depending on the plan,
On the
but they break it down. The ACA, if it did nothing for any other thing, it did mandate that all the employers have to develop a summary benefit comparison, what makes it easy to compare apples to apples when you're looking at, insuring yourself, if you're out in the marketplace or changing jobs. You can pull up these documents, we can share them. We have all these published for ourselves for employees in our BenTech program, and you can look line by line by line. How much is it going to be if I am hospitalized? I break my leg. I need to have prenatal care. All that kind of spells it out so employees know what their costs are. So it makes it really easy to compare, and we have, I think, by far more generous plans than Lee does.
Also, as part of our strategic plan, we discussed showing staff what their real salary is, including the fringes and the benefits. Because when you add those additional costs that the employer pays, it's significant.
Mm-hmm.
So a teacher making $50,000, truly when you add all those benefits up, we're talking more.
Low 70s. Yeah.
That's what Lee
75.
County does, and I think that's important that we show what we are contributing to their salary as well.
Very helpful, thank you. Did I answer all of your questions? Great.
Okay.
Mr. Peach, you had some questions?
I wrote down, I like the term vacant position cost savings, and that was at the heart of what I think the Lee County School District did, but they have economies of scale that are way beyond what we have here in the charter school system. So my question is, has there been any sort of preliminary analysis, what number of budgeted positions, and we can just talk about teaching, if a position is open it's budgeted, but it's open for an entire year because it's intentionally not filled or because it takes 3 months to fill, so that portion of the salary, is there any preliminary analysis in terms of budgeted units that have been left on the table over the past couple of years, just to get a sense of, if a teacher's total compensation is $75,000, are there 5 units a year that get left on the table, or has there been any analysis of that at this point?
Typically, no, they're not on the table for several years. We do have some vacant spots this year. Some that will potentially stay vacant for the rest of the year. But it's a very complicated process that I'm not prepared to discuss or share, because I don't know, we still haven't we have to dive deep into those vacancies. And what will they look like next year? Will they be vacant next year, or are we going to staff them next year? We're low on an AP this year, but we have a dean at the middle school. So next year, we're not gonna have the dean, but we will have the AP. So we haven't gotten to those discussions yet. Our budget kickoff is gonna be December 20th. That's when we're gonna try to figure out, who do we not have this year? Who's gonna stay missing next, or vacant next year? And how do we adjust that? Because we just haven't gotten that far. Very good question. We just haven't gotten that far yet.
Thank you, Member Hees. Any other questions for the superintendent
Okay, are we good?
on this particular?
Okay. So my next discussion is going to be on school grades. They have come in for the school year. They're based on our new FAST test. Last year was the baseline year, so this is the first year we're getting scores. We have done extremely well. The 2 elementary schools are both A schools once again. In the school district of Lee County, out of 51 elementary schools, only 16 were A's this year. Ours being 2 of them. OEN is number 8 out of all Lee County elementary schools based on U.S. News and World Reports. OES has ranked number 3. In addition, Oasis Middle School is the top performing middle school in the district. Only 4 schools received an A rating in addition to Oasis Middle School. They are ranked number 1 in Lee County School District, and 189 out of all Florida middle schools in the state of Florida. That's an exceptional rating. Oasis High School this year, unfortunately, did not maintain their A. They were a B school this year. They only missed it by 2 percentage points. And only 3 high schools in Lee County, in the whole county, received A ratings. It's very interesting. We had a net loss of 45 points. As compared to the last year tested, we found that we had decreased significantly in the area of English language arts. But I'm telling you, my Oasis High School team is constantly monitoring what they're doing this year, and they are already making great progress according to their progress monitoring data, and they are already well above the ending scores that we had last year. Am I right, Ms. Corey? We are on the money. So we are very confident that next year Oasis High School will be back up to a B. A. It's been a long day. And then the last point that I wanted to discuss was the strategic plan recap. We had session number 2, and that session comprised of a very core group of administrators, teachers, myself, and our facilitator. We were delving deep into our 3 existing goals: student achievement, continuous improvement, and community engagement. So for each goal, we have 3 strategies that we believe are the best to address the goals that I mentioned. And really what we did was we honed into action plans. And the best part of this session was that we assigned a single person to lead each action plan, which is great for me because in the past I was the leader of all the action plans. So now, for example, we have Mary Beth Gressick, who's going to develop an internal committee to analyze vertical and horizontal alignment of the curriculum, K through 12. Kevin Brown and I are going to head up the innovative platforms, curricular platforms in community and professional development, based on what we learned at the Aurora Institute and based on a lot of philosophies that we as a system believe are important for learner engagement. Jackie Corey, our principal at the high school, is going to head up the community partners and workforce readiness pathways with a team of core individuals. She's got a lot of great ideas system-wide lined up for us. And then all of our assistant principals are going to coordinate the onboarding and retaining strategies with the HR manager for new hires and veteran teachers. What we also did, in addition to those small internal committees, was develop larger committees that would be led by board members and parents. Those committees are the Strategic Plan Committee. It's going to lead the forward movement of the plan over the next 3 to 5 years. A Marketing and Brand Awareness Committee. It's going to be headed by our PIO, Kathleen Paul Evans, to promote this system and engage the community in events. And she's going to organize a centralized process to publicize what we do as a system. And then we're going to have a fundraising / major gifts committee, where we have some ideas about how we're going to raise money for the system, how we can increase grants, and can we do something to bring in major gifts and donations to our system that could potentially offset some of our other costs, so dollars can be freed up for staff bonuses. So we've got a lot of great ideas brewing. I'm waiting on Doug Van Dyke's transcript because he was the one that took the most extensive notes. I'm going to compare them to mine so that I can give the board an idea of, where we're going with each strategy and goal. And we have a handful of additional Zoom meetings with our facilitator, who's going to lead us in further development of these action plans and these SMART goals and how to measure these plans in the month of January, February, and March. So I'm hoping by the beginning of January, there's something that we can give to you that's been wordsmithed by Kathleen and I, so that you have a better understanding of what we outlined as our core group moving forward for the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, and then last but not least, some fun stuff. We had 100 of our elementary students from both elementary schools attend the city's tree lighting event recently, and they sang for us. They were great. And we combined Oasis Middle School and Oasis High School's chorus and did a combined choir in the high school gym of 150 students. It was absolutely phenomenal. And we're going to make that a tradition every year, and that we do that because having 150 students sing was phenomenal. Next week is our last week that we're in session for this school year, 2023. We are going to return in January on the 8th for a professional development workshop on universal design for learning. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Collins? I have more of a statement. I think that the scores that were released on our schools is a true testament to our admin, our staff, and most importantly our teachers who are on the front lines making these scores happen. I think they're remarkable scores, and we should all be very proud of ourselves for those. For the committees, you had 3 committees. You had marketing and fundraising, major gifts, and what was the third committee?
Strategic plan.
Strategic planning. And we're going to appoint people on these committees, stakeholders that maybe have some influence in those particular areas or expertise, correct?
We had some great parents that had some very fine-tuned expertise in certain areas that came to the first strategic plan meeting. Yeah, we'd like to try to see if we can get them to commit to a committee. We have some staff members that have done major gifts fundraising event for a private school, and we'd like to engage the board to have the board sit on some of those committees to help, so that everybody understands where we're going and where we need to go in our next steps to get to meet our goals.
That sounds
We
exciting.
haven't gotten that far yet, but we will offer these committees to the board to see who's interested.
I think Dr. Maya once said that 70% of our board should be committed to the strategic plan, correct? That's what we should be discussing and spearheading, talking about more so than the agenda. Yeah, so that's definitely something that we can steer towards in those committees, I think. Wow, great, thank you. All right, that brings us to agenda number 10, City Manager's Report. Mr. Mason, what do you got for us?
Actually, I have a report.
No?
No, I'm all good. Yeah, everybody's happy, no report.
Yes.
Martin, will you
Yeah, I
communicate?
can. You want me to?
I just want you to tell me how Lee County came up with.
All right, so I was debating when you all were talking about the whole salary thing, then
whether we were going to talk about that or not. So last meeting, I told you, I said we didn't know how Lee County managed to do this. Okay, so we talked to Lee County and they told us how they did it.
Okay.
Primarily, what they managed to do is this way, by changing the busing situation for their elementary schools, they went to a district approach for their elementary schools, meaning that essentially there's a shorter route and shorter busing routes for the elementary school system. It's not, we'll carry somebody from the south end of Lee County all the way into Cape Coral for a student attending an elementary school. So you still have school choice, but at the same time, you also have at a district level. So by changing that for elementary schools, they managed to save about $10,000 a day. And by taking that and doing that, that's where the funding came from, for them to be able to approve the contract with the teachers as well as the other employees. And they're going to be doing it again this coming fiscal year, the next fiscal year for the middle school. And by the time they get to the high school, it's diminishing returns, but at the end of the day, there is still savings that will be generated because of that. For the city, for us, we don't have that. And it cannot be mirrored, it cannot be duplicated, it cannot be anything with regard to the charter school system.
I think a lot of people are under the assumption that their teacher's getting 11% raise across the board.
No, that is absolutely not correct. And after we had the meeting, I didn't realize that the Lee County School District already had approved the contract, so I went and read the contract. And he said it effectively only teachers that had been in the Lee County school system for more than 20 years receive 11.5%. And it went down from there. 15 to 19 received 10.5%, and these were one time. This isn't every single year. This is one time for a 3-year contract. Okay, so the information that has been coming out, it has not been, what I would consider to be accurate. Because all they're hearing is 11.5%. But the reality is that, the teachers with 0 years did receive a 3.65% change. And they also made a change to the starting salary to $50,000. But again, as Amy just showed me one more time, because there's a little calculator on the Lee County School District about starting salary, their max at 20 years or more is 55. So between 0 and 55 and 20 years or more, your starting salary is between 50 and 55. That is not a big change when you really think about it.
If you're there for 20 years, you're getting that 11%.
Whereas for us, we do have that differential. You start here with that many years. You start at what, 58? Is that what you said? I don't really know what the number is for us.
50,500.
50,500. Okay, yeah. See. So there are some differentials with that, but that's kind of like where we're at. So
I'm going to sway that over to Ms. Collins for a quick question. Logistically, our busing routes, we're already full capacity. There's no cutting.
There might be one bus route that we could probably get rid of. It's got a small group of riders on it. I want to say maybe 16.
That would be insignificant.
Because we have waiting lists on middle school buses, we have depot stops, so we've got people from large areas coming to one, but it's completely a different scenario.
And over the years, we've revamped our busing routes to make them as efficient as possible. So I don't think there's anything like that. Ms. Michaels, I have a question.
Yeah, I was just curious, when you said, Mr. Mason, you said it was a one-time thing for 3 years, is it like just a one-time bonus?
it is a one-time retention percentage increase, one time. So in the following year, in the second year of the contract, there's no raises built into the system. The third year of the contract, there's not that I understand that there is no raises built into the contract.
That gives us a lot more clarity.
Okay.
But they do have a longevity pay program, which, Director Collins talked a little bit about. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
once we've actually settled down and hammered out exactly what that costs.
Mr.
I didn't want to extend it longer, but I really believe everybody needs to understand that. So the salary savings that ends up coming out of vacancies with teachers could never have afforded that change, ever. They would have had to have almost all of their teachers not there to be able to afford them.
That gives us a lot of clarity.
Okay.
Semi-related, Steve Schimpf, he is the chair of the sales tax committee for the school district, right? So they oversee, they bless in essence which projects are gonna get funded, right? He presented at the Horizon Council session a couple of months back, and the question came up, how long does this existing agreement last? For 5 more years. The general consensus was that even though it won't be voted again until 5 years from now, that we should begin thinking about how we're gonna position when we have to vote on it again. And what does that mean to us? Charter schools better be included, right? They weren't included the first time around, okay, but the next time, so in the strategic plan, we should probably include some component that says, let's track this so that they can't say, well, you never asked to be in the plan, like they did the last time, right?
Statutorily, they have to be. All charter schools will be included in the planning. They will come and talk to us about whatever it is that we'd be looking.
The other piece is that unless there's good information to the voters might say, we don't want this, right? So we have to be knowledgeable enough to say, hey, this is why it's important. Yeah.
I think it's incumbent on us to lobby our, parents in our community as well.
Exactly.
Just as an observational point, I don't think the school district has done a good job to date of saying what the money has been used for, to be honest with you. And so if you ever talk to anybody about that, you have to go searching for something. And, they don't market it very well. They don't, they don't really talk it up about what they've managed to do with those funds.
I know they have a calculator on the website that shows what it is. And they have some signs around town that says what your half cent is going towards, but we can certainly help market that as well. It's incumbent on us, I think. Thank you, Mr. Mixon. We do appreciate it.
Sure, no, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
So that was my report.
Okay. That will bring us to our chairman's report, which I guess is me. I'd like to start off by personally congratulating and welcoming our new board member to speak. I think your expertise in the educational field will come in very handy, so thank you. I wanted to also let the board know that I went and spoke at the Youth Council a couple months ago. They are, in essence, another board that the city has, comprised of the youth of schools. Majority of the children on that are at Oasis. No surprise there, but they're Oasis students. So I invited them to come to our March meeting that will be held in City Council chambers. Hopefully there's enough of them interested. I've gotten some feedback on it. They can come sit up on the dais with us and talk as well. They're a very impressive group of individuals. They run their meetings just as well as City Council runs theirs. It's impressive. But a lot of these decisions we make are impacting them on an individual level. So it would be great to have them come see kind of what we do as well. So, I stopped by the homecoming dance and have gone to quite a few sporting activities over the last couple months. It is a marked difference compared to what we used to do. That is thanks to Jackie, the principal, as well, bringing some of that over, and Mr. Hopper and the principals for having pep rallies and getting the kids excited about what we're doing. Ms. Gressick, I see that there. I think that is a huge component of our school, is getting these kids and the parents excited about what we're doing. They now have sports teams they can cheer for and be proud of. That homecoming dance looked like something out of a movie. It was amazing. My homecoming dance did not look anything. So, the energy that all this is bringing to the school is only going to make us a better school. So, and Gary's, that goes for you as well, because I know you're part of a lot of it as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
I know that Ms. Collins talked about committees a little bit in forming somewhat the strategic plan, but I think it is also incumbent upon us as a board to maybe have some committees. I know Dr. Manaya has talked about this a little bit. There's more we can be doing, right? As a board, I think we have some responsibility to go out there and do a little bit more than maybe show up to the meetings and have some, insight and good input. But I think that if we form committees ourselves, I think that will give us that energy and that ambition to go out into the community and shout it from the rooftops about our school. So I think that that is something we should start thinking about and discussing what important committees might be and who might be on those. Right? I think that we don't tap into our business community nearly as much. And I think Dr. Manaya has his finger on the pulse of our business community here in the county. So he could probably help us. Maybe we can pick 2 community partners and have one board member go talk to them and tell them all about who we are. I think our board members will be perfectly happy to do that. I think we just need to initiate it. So I think that's something that we can start thinking about and talk about at our next meeting as well. And that's it for the chairman's report. That now brings me to Mr. Sandy for the foundation report. Or is Jen going to do it?
I can do it.
Okay, come on up.
You're all up.
I'm dressed like this. I'm announcing basketball in an hour. I'm on basketball attire on. Just 2 things really going on. One is we're actively trying to find more money. Surprise, surprise. So I was actually digging around at looking at grants today, and there's a couple of interesting ones out there. But again, we're disqualified for most of them. So the Department of Education has a couple that you guys can do. I'm sure you've seen that in your new program. So that's that. And then we're actually skipping this month for a meeting so we can breathe for a second. The other thing is Lighthouse Awards. I don't want to take these off. We have 333 nominations. Not bad, not bad. And you guys all know what Lighthouse Awards are?
They explain it, because I'm not sure
It's like the
everybody
Golden
does.
Apple for our little school system. It's like the Golden Apple, where they celebrate teachers, and there's an independent committee that goes and interviews and then does like kind of drop in observations, and so we don't have anything to do with it. I mean, we do, but the committees who puts the numbers together, so there's no conflict of interest or anything like that. So then the dates are, just to kind of give you the dates on the progression of this, January 22nd through 26th, all Lighthouse finalists are recognized at each school. And there's 3 finalists per school, so 12 finalists total. They usually show up with balloons and whatever. It's cool. I know a lot of good teachers. And then January 29th through February 29th, we have unannounced observations that take place by, again, an independent observation committee. March 1st through 14th, interviews take place with observation committee. And then April 19th, we have our Lighthouse Awards presentations and finalists announced. The event is there, which is a lot of fun. And you're always all invited. So look for the email. It's a good time. It's free food. Good stuff. And you get to celebrate the teachers. That's the more important part. So that's really all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. I know we always get an invite as a board, and I've been to them. They're a lot of fun, and I think it would be great to represent as a board as well. That brings us to staff comments. Do we have any staff comments today? Brings us to number 14, unfinished business, which I believe we do not have any unfinished business. So we will move on to 15, which is new business, which again, I believe we do not have any new business. Am I correct, Ms. Kathleen? No new business?
No business.
So we will move on to agenda item 16, final board comments and discussions. I would love to hear from some of the parent reps. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you are our conduit to what the parents are talking about, right? So input, anything that you want to tell us about what the parents are saying, what they're thinking, we're always willing and eager to listen to. So we'll start over here. Board comments?
Yeah, I'm Jose Soto, representing Oasis Elementary South. I don't have anything to relay from the parents, but I just wanted to agree and reiterate the educational aspect of the what we're seeing with the teacher salaries. You know, I think it's important for them to know exactly what, you know, what they're receiving here, what they can receive there, because the misinformation could sway them to make a decision that, you know, it's not the best for them. And under, you know, desperation or, you know, the urgency of needing more, you know, of an income, we can lose, you know, some teachers. So
Yeah. Scary prospect.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Caroline Rousseau for Oasis Elementary North. Again, I don't have anything to relay from the parents of our school. But again, I think that it's great that we're trying to help the teachers. The $1,000 bonus that they're having this year, is it every year or just this year for the Christmas bonus? Is it just one time?
We are winding down with our ESSER 3 money, which is our COVID grant funding. So we've given some $1,000 bonuses in previous years.
Okay.
But so this is not typical, but we wanted to do something for them, and we thought this was a good time.
Okay.
And it was greatly appreciated. Principals got, you know, accolades from their teachers saying, and it was for, you know, bus drivers and food service workers and paraprofessionals, everybody got it. It was it meant the world to them. So that was important that we did that.
Absolutely. And I hope we can keep doing that.
We're looking, yes, we are looking at something else.
I'm very happy also that we have that great work, great A schools, and I'm sure Principal Corey will do her best to put the high school back to the grade A school.
Can I add to that? Jackie just got an email from the Director of Accountability and Assessment in Lee County saying, after an initial review of the informational baseline school grade data, it appears there may be some anomalies with the ELA achievement scores. They will be reviewing the data and conducting an analysis. Once the analysis is complete, we will share the next steps with each of you. She only has to find 2 points. That's right. Real great. Smart.
All right. So it looks like we may have 3 A-rated schools. Four on.
That's what I like to hear.
Hi, Jen Hoagland, OHS parent rep. Again, nothing specific, but I can say the buzz in the high school overall seems to be, the pep rallies are outstanding. The kids are super excited, super happy. First half of the year is great. And so thank you for everything you've done since you've gotten here. And all good things.
Thank you, Member Hoagland. We appreciate it. Mr. Peace?
I will again say thank you for having me here. I'm happy to join the board, and I'll echo what some of the other folks have said about the school culture. I can see it on social media. There's a great social media presence now, which has always been with some of the other schools that some of your leadership's been involved with. And then also when it comes to school grade, there are going to be a lot of anomalies with this one. For those in the room who don't know, there were significant changes this year. The FAST test, progress monitoring, this is the first year that they're using it. So I think they actually cut out like 4 categories for high school, which I'm sure would have easily put the high school at an A if they had been in there, because they didn't have baseline data from to compare to for growth scores and things like that. So I'm sure all of the schools will be strong A's very soon, if not by the next week or so, once they figure out the anomaly. So thank you.
Councilmember Hayden?
Well, it's an honor to be at my first school board meeting. Sorry for the awkwardness of the process of losing your positions and then getting them back almost as quickly. A little different, but I think we've got the board in place that we want. And congratulations on being named chair.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And vice chair, and Guido, thank you for everything that you do. You're instrumental in a lot of things that happen in our community for the better. So thank you for all that. Tune in to tomorrow night's council meeting. It'll be exciting to say the least. And Jackie, thank you, and all the teachers, principals, administrators for all your work. We're very proud of the Oasis Charter Schools, and I look forward to the strategic plan and the initiatives that are laid out. But we know we're one of the top charter schools in the country, let alone in just Lee County. So thank you for all your efforts. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Member Etiselli.
Yes, Mr. Peace, thank you so much for joining us. We have been looking for this education spot to be filled, and when I was listening to all of the things you've done, I was like, wow, mind blown. So it was so amazing. Thank you so much for joining us and volunteering your time. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. We are so happy to have you.
Just a quick update, Resilient Lee, it's winding down. Basically Resilient Lee is part of the regional task force. That's the governing body. Then there's branches, there's an education and workforce branch and a number of other branches. City of Cape Coral was very highly involved in providing input. I sit on the education and workforce branch. Front and center is after-school care, daycare, mental health for our students kind of care. So all of those have bubbled up to be mission critical issues, as well as how do we retain our workforce? How do we retain our teachers? How do we recruit teachers? As well as healthcare and other areas. So those plans are being, Friday is when it's final input from the branches and the regional task force. Then it moves into the final review by the county commissioners, and then it gets shopped around to about 27 agencies, federal agencies, state agencies. They estimate anywhere from 15 billion to 90 billion could be possible for Lee County, right? And that's why the consulting firm that was brought on, they specialize in this stuff, like which federal agency do you go to for this kind of a project? The technical colleges are mission critical to our success as our workforce as well. And there's already great things being done, and there's possibly even more with the additional funding. So we anticipate that the funding would start coming in beyond what we've already received. 1 billion has already come in for predominantly affordable housing, which is helpful for teachers, it's helpful for nurses, and a bunch of other areas, right? But the other funding, maybe over the next 5+ years, we will see as possibilities. Game changers for our entire community. And so yeah, just be on the lookout for those kind of reports in the news press and in other areas to see what the final view is.
Thank you for being part of the resiliency, and I know you're trying to kind of include maybe the forgotten as well, so thank you.
Charter schools are part of all those discussions.
Member Michael?
Yes. Mr. Mason, thank you very much for digging in and figuring out how he did it. It's helpful for us to understand and ultimately for all staff to understand that it's not an apples to apples comparison, and you know what really took place. And total compensation is always super important. It's not just the salary. Salary is very important, but if you're paying twice as much for benefits, that's a component of salary ultimately. So total compensation, I think that'll be really helpful for the teachers to understand the differentiation between the two systems. And then I would just say, you know, we're clearly the best system in the district, the best schools in the district, and while we are always going to be constrained by certain funding limitations, we should aspire to be not only the best school, but the best competitively paying school. I know that's a long journey for us to go to, but if that's a goal we're looking towards and we're always striving towards, you know, I think that's ultimately hopefully achievable for us. But I want the teachers and all the staff to understand that we are focused on that, and that's what we want to be able to accomplish. That's all I have. Oh, and thank you for trusting me as the vice chairman. I appreciate that.
Thank you. For my closing remarks, I would like to congratulate you on your position as vice chair. Congratulations. I'd also like to congratulate Dr. Minaya on becoming vice chair of the chair of the Horizon Council. That is a big deal.
This round of applause.
No small thing. Actually, the business leaders of Lee County. I mean, that's huge. So, I'd also like to echo the sentiments mostly to the teachers that are listening, and maybe the parents that are watching, and some of the people in the room. That's the board was disbanded, and we really were not reappointed until a week ago. So as far as we've been scrambling, trying to get some numbers together, trying to set up meetings, but we've only had a week, unfortunately. So please rest assured that we will continue with our meetings. We'll continue crunching numbers. We will continue to do what we can. I wish we had a better definitive answer for you tonight, but time restraints just did not allow, because we've literally had only a week to kind of reconvene and see where we were and reconvene the board. So thank you for your patience, and please know we did not free. I'd also like to thank our student partners. Of course, Councilmember Hayden, thank you for filling in. Your insight is always great. We do appreciate it. Anytime you want to come sit with us, we're more than happy to have you.
Appreciate the offer.
Yeah. I'd like to thank legal and, of course, finance and, of course, HR. Without you guys, we couldn't do it. So thank you for our partners in the city of North. That being said, our next meeting will be Tuesday, January 16th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. and that's going to be at Cape Coral City Chambers. With that, meeting is adjourned.